So the Carabao Cup semi-final, Chelsea against Arsenal. Arsenal win 3-2 at first leg at Stamford Bridge. Very good win for Chelsea. Sorry, for Arsenal. Bloody hell, what's going on with me today? Very good win for Arsenal. Advantage Arsenal, and I think they've got it in the bag at the Emirates. I don't see Chelsea beating Arsenal at the Emirates in the second leg. If I'm being very honest with you. However, if you're an Arsenal fan, and some Arsenal fans mentioned in social media that it could have been more, it should have been more, and I agree, because Arsenal, they let Chelsea off the hook. Mostly Arsenal were much better than Chelsea. They got that lead from Ben White, and deservedly so. Great assist, great corner made by Declan Rice, and a great header from Ben White. However, when you see Arsenal scoring that goal, that was a similar goal to Semenyo scored that goal against Newcastle, the second goal. The Semenyo goal was disallowed, whereas this goal was not allowed. This goal was allowed. Where's the consistency? Again, I know people will say, "Oh, but the people in VR, they learn from the mistakes, etc., etc." Then why did they take a lot of time in that game against Newcastle and Man City? If they learn from the mistakes. So again, listen, it's the right decision to allow that goal from Arsenal, but we're asking for consistency. Nothing else. We're asking for consistency. Nothing else. But again, great header from Ben White, and again, Arsenal, I mean, being the masters of set pieces again. I mean, there's even reports that they brought a throwing coach from Liverpool, who were key to the Liverpool success under Jurgen Klopp. So that's going to even make them more stronger in set pieces and throw-ins. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal, they're really good at set piece. I mean, I've seen some teams where they try to, for example, put 3 defenders defending, but still it's tough. It's tough. You know, Arsenal have got big bodies, likes of Gabriel, Saliba. You know, big strong characters, defenders, and good players. So, and I've got, you know, other covers as well in the defense, like Calafiori, who can play, for example, at times. So yeah, and Arsenal were the better team. I mean, they should have scored more. I think they should have killed the game more instead of letting Chelsea back in the game. Arsenal scored the second goal with the finish from Gyökeres. I thought Gyökeres had a very good game. He scored and assisted. However, it could have been better for him, because I feel like this Arsenal team, even though Gyökeres should do more in effort as he did against Liverpool, and I mentioned that, I feel like the Arsenal players are not giving him the service that he wants, and this Arsenal team is not set up for that. Sometimes they play tippy-tappy football, tippy-tappy, so sometimes it doesn't suit Gyökeres' style, you know. So I think I think Gyökeres likes to run behind defenders, and sometimes the Arsenal players don't give him the service. They don't give him, like City do with Erling Haaland. So, you know, there's a moment I think where Saka could have made that pass to Gyökeres, and he didn't do that, and Gyökeres was frustrated with that, and understandably so. So hopefully this goal and assist that he, because he assisted that also third goal from Zubimendi, will give him confidence, and also show to the Arsenal players and say, you know, you see what I can do. You know, give me what I want, please. To score goals and win new games, because in tight games, Arsenal are gonna need that. In tight games, Arsenal are gonna need to give service to Gyökeres he wants, and then he can deliver. Because Gyökeres is a fantastic striker, and when he's at his best, he's a prolific goal scorer. But give him the service that he needs, because he can make runs as well. However, sometimes he can have performances like against Liverpool where not much effort, right, and not much involved. So yeah, but he scored that second goal, and however you think like, okay, Arsenal 2-0 up, and yeah, that's it, big game over, and then Arsenal, you know, conceded some sloppy goals, particularly the second one from Garnacho, where it was a scrappy goal, if I'm being very honest with you. So, you know, and the third goal Zubimendi, quality for him, finish from him, fantastic goal from him. I mean, Zubimendi, since signing for Arsenal, he's been absolutely, you know, we talk about the, you know, Declan Rice, Gabriel Magalhaes being the instrumental to Arsenal's success. I mean, Zubimendi's been absolutely superb as well, absolutely amazing. The guy could defend, the guy could attack. He's got, you know, he's got that energy, and you know, he got that stamina. He's a quality player, fantastic player. That's what there is a reason why Real Madrid wanted him. Sorry, Xabi Alonso wanted him in the summer, and Real Madrid didn't get him. So he's a quality player, Zubimendi. I think he when he played for Spain, I think the Euros final where Rodri was subbed off and he came on. He was one of the key people that helped Spain win that game. So he's a quality player, and for sure I think he's underrated as well. I don't think many people give him credit because he's been absolutely fantastic. Mostly he's played for Arsenal this season. Not only defensively, he can track back, he can defend, he can attack. I mean, the guy is a fantastic player. So yeah, and he's been absolutely instrumental for Arsenal as well. But again, Arsenal, they won 3-2, and they have a very good chance to qualify for the final. I think they have it in the bag in the final. I really think so. They have it in the bag, qualifying for the final. So yeah. As for Chelsea, I mean, they started badly with that goal from Ben White, and then they fought back. They started to fight, and they responded quite well. But again, defensively they were all over the place. Defensively still. Sanchez, I mean, with the 2 goals. I mean, people say, "Oh, it's improved. This season has been fantastic." Why are you being harsh on him, Mohammed? And you see this kind of games, and you're like, same problems are still there. So, Chelsea they fought back quite well, but again, they still lost at home, and I think it's going to be difficult for them to win it at the Emirates. And Liam Racine, obviously his first home game. He's got some things to work on, especially Chelsea defensively and obviously with the goalkeeper. Going forward, they've improved a little bit, and Garnacho, you have to say, he scored 2 goals, and he was very good for Chelsea in this game. And Chelsea were, you have to say, Chelsea, they were on the back foot already before this game because they were missing Reece James, they were missing Caicedo, Cole Palmer. They had some key players missing from this game. So you think like, okay, Arsenal should smack them here. So considering the circumstances, you might give Chelsea a bit of credit for losing this game only by 1 goal, which, I don't buy into that because Chelsea are a big team. They're not a small team to say, oh, they only lost by 1 goal. So they still lost. So it's not a good result. And despite they had some key players missing, they gave a good fight, but still it's not enough. So Arsenal, could have been better, but they still won. They still They still have a great chance of going through to the final, and they'll face Manchester City, I'm pretty sure. So Arteta's team have 1 foot in the final at Wembley. Let's move on to Copa del Rey. Barcelona won 2-0 against Racing Santander. It looked nervy. You think like, okay, could there be another shock in the cards here? As we saw shock in the cards the day before, and I'm going to talk about that. But Barcelona, Hansi Flick went with a strong team, and you think like, why? But I think because of what he saw the day before, what happened the day before, he thought like, okay, I don't want to take too much risks here. I don't want disrespect Racing Santander. And Barcelona want to win. It was not easy, but as soon as they got that goal, you think like, okay, that's a game over. They're gonna get more, and they got the second goal. So, and they're through to the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. So well done to Barcelona. Albacete against Real Madrid. Albacete are fighting for relegation in the Segunda Division. Before they play against Real Madrid, their form coming to this game: a loss against Malaga, a draw against Celta Vigo, a draw against Granada, a loss against Leganes, a draw against Real Sociedad B. They haven't won a game since mid-December, and then comes Real Madrid. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse for Real Madrid, it does. You lose to Albacete And it's not like Real Madrid played such a weak team. They had, yes, I know there's the rest of some players like Bellingham, Mbappe, etc. But they still have players like Vinicius, Mostantono. There still are some good players in there, and that are good enough to beat this Albacete team. That Vinicius were playing 90 minutes, Gonzalo Garcia, Mostantono, Arda Güler, Valverde. They still have good enough players in that bench, that team, to win that game. They brought in Camavinga, and you can't beat Albacete. You lose to Albacete, you get battered by Bentancur. I think that's the guy who scored the winning goal for Albacete. That's his name, yeah? What's his name? Jefte. Sorry, his name is Jefte. Yeah, Bentancur, sorry. I mean, you lose to Albacete. I mean, just when you think couldn't get worse for Real Madrid, it does. Losing the Spanish Super Cup final to Barcelona. Monday, Xabi Alonso leaves. Tuesday, Arbeloa appoints as the Real Madrid manager. Wednesday, gets knocked out of another competition by Albacete, who are in the second division and they're fighting for relegation and haven't won a game in a month. And you lose to them. Like, and those players, right? And listen, I've seen Real Madrid fans criticize Arbeloa because, I don't know why. Because, you know, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. These players of Real Madrid, you are responsible. You are. Now Xavi's out, you are now responsible. And these players, they have to look at they should look at themselves in the mirror and they should be ashamed of themselves for the way they treated Xabi Alonso, and for you to play this way against Albacete, right? When Xabi Alonso leaves, you would think like, okay, Real Madrid are going to improve. You're going to see players like Happy and the manager bounce kind of thing, etc., and playing with freedom. And you lose to Albacete. These players should be ashamed of themselves. Vinicius, you see him the way he was playing in this game. Look at him in his head. I'm pretty sure when he was playing in this game, he was like, "Why am I playing? Why am I playing and the other players are not playing like Bellingham and Mbappe? Why am I here? Why?" This arrogance, the arrogance of those Real Madrid players, the arrogance, the egoness. How dare you to have that ego? I mean, look at this Real Madrid team. Let's look at this Real Madrid team. How many of those players, right, will get into the top winning Champions League sides of Real Madrid in 2018, 2016, 2014? How many of them? How many? Vinicius? Ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo? Mbappe? Yeah, okay, he scores goals, but you know, he hasn't won many big trophies for Real Madrid yet. Bellingham? Ahead of Toni, Kroos, Modric, Casemiro? What? Are you joking? The only one who you could say could get into those teams is the goalkeeper, Courtois. The only one. Other players, they're great players, very good players, but how many of them you would say will get into these top winning Champions League sides of Real Madrid? It does anything when they had Cristiano Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale, Ramos. How many of them? Like these players are not good. They're not good as they think they are. They should be ashamed of themselves. Those Real Madrid players, they should be ashamed of themselves, and really, they should look at themselves in the mirror. But how many of them did they really do? How many of them do that? Let's be honest. How many of them do that? How many of them, those players, do that? Because those players have the mentality to think like, I'm the best. We control the dressing room. Mbappe, you know, he's very arrogant. The way he treated Xabi Alonso is very arrogant. And he's not to blame for this game, by the way. He's not to blame because he didn't play. But he's the part of the problem that Real Madrid have in the dressing room with Vinicius and those people. You know, Xabi Alonso leaves, but no. You know, Xabi Alonso leaves and you lose this game. You lose this game against Albacete. But no, The most important thing, Bellingham and Valverde and Vinicius, the players are happy. This is the most important thing. Not harsh words, not harsh reality, and need to win. No, make sure the players are happy. That's the most important thing. I mean, it's like children. Bloody hell. I mean, this Real Madrid should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Those players should be ashamed of themselves, because that is absolutely embarrassing for Real Madrid. Thank you guys. I wish you have a nice time, and see you next time.